Okay. So let's try to pick up where we left off. I might not do everything on translations. I just want to do enough where we feel comfortable with it. And then today we're supposed to move on to rotations. Even if we're a little bit behind all week, Thursday is kind of like a catch-up day. Because Thursday was supposed to be a review day anyway. We just went over everything. Huh?
Yeah, we need to one day.
Yeah, it will be a review. That's the whole point. Is that that'll be like a catch-up day.
Let's go.
If we can catch up before Thursday, then that's the more review that we'll have. Let's see. Did we get? Okay, we got to the notes. We did the first one. We did the second one. I don't. Did we do this one here?
We started.
Okay, let's just start here.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So we did enough where if I were to ask you, looking at this diagram here, this graph, which of those quadrilaterals is the pre-image?
The black one.
The black one. Why? Because it's black?
Yeah.
No, because it doesn't have the prime.
Well, you know what? Last turn I could not get that answer. Very good. Say it again, Joel.
It doesn't have a prime.
It doesn't have a prime notation, or you can say the apostrophe. Very good. Very good. When you get the quiz, those are going to be photocopies. They're not going to be in color. So if you're judging by color, like, oh, the blacks are always the pre-image and the blues are always the image, it's not gonna. You gotta know what prime notation is. You gotta look for the apostrophe. Okay. Now let's ignore this because I was told we're not gonna really do this. But I'll show you anyways. I'll show you displacement notation anyways. But let's focus on this one, which these slides call arrow notation. What did I tell you that I called them? What did I call it on the first slide?
Slide. No,
Instead of arrow notation?
I forget.
Coordinate notation. Coordinate. So let's describe this in coordinate notation. Where this starts to get harder is once you learn about all the different transformations. Now you have to take them on into consideration. You say, oh, geez, did this undergo a rotation? Did this undergo a reflection? But when all we're doing is translations, yeah, it's going to seem a lot easier, but you got to still be careful. You want to make sure that does this appear to have changed size? In order to get from the black to the blue, does it appear to have changed size? No. If you're not sure, look at the distance between the points. R is 1 point above S and 1 point to the right. Same thing in blue. Q is 2 points below and 4 points to the right of R. Same thing in blue. So all that will happen here with the translation. What did we say is another word for translation? What's the common word for translation? I guess you could call it a shift.
Slide.
A slide, yeah, we said a slide. Okay. So coordinate notation says, okay, we got all the points, x, comma, y. And every single one of the points underwent a rule. What operations were being used, Malachi, when you do a translation? Malachi.
That's the same form from last time.
Which operations are we doing when we're translating? Alex, do you know? When you translate, what operations are you doing?
Rotation.
Julia, do you know so you can move up with this? I tried to show you that we're going to be translating. We're going to be sliding.
No, I understand. I just can't hear what the question was.
I'm getting there. What operations are you doing to the x's and y's, to the coordinates, when you translate?
Oh, I remember. I just know how to explain.
What was your name?
One word.
What?
David? Adding and subtracting. Fantastic. So, if we look at all the prime points, if we look at the image, let's go one by one. With respect to the x coordinate, x goes left and right. Are the blue points to the right or to the left of the black
right.
points? They are to the right. How far to the right?
1 point.
1. So we said we're going to add and subtract. If we're going right 1, what are we adding or subtracting?
1.
Add 1. We're going to add 1. Comma. What was the change vertically with respect to the y-axis? To get from black to blue, did we go up or down? Look at the R's, look at the S's, look at the P's, look at the Q's. Did they move up or down? None. None.
Right.
In displacement notation, I was told that we should focus more on coordinate notation, but in displacement notation, you would just write as a parentheses, you would just write each point and then say like, okay, S, if you went 1 to the right and then 0 up, it would just be like 1, 0 like that. You'd have to do it for each point. But we won't worry about that. Okay, let's do the next one. Given this pre-image and translation, determine the coordinates of the image.
Oh.
This is in coordinate notation, also known as arrow notation. So if we think of this, Lily, like a different language, here, I'll let Brian help you out, because Lily's contributing more than Brian today. Brian, what is this telling you to do?
To add y to 2.
Wrong. You go. You go. To the left. You to the right. No, to the left.
To the left.
And you go up.
That's exactly right. Say thank you, Brian. So this is telling you to get every single point and move them to the slide them, translate them to the left 4 and 2 up. So
All 4 of them?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
All 4 of them, yeah. So for the R,
I
1, 2, 3, 4, up, 1, 2.
So like this is the stuff that's coming in.
For translations, we have 3 other transformations to get to.
So this is just a translation thing?
No, it's all transformations. We have the rest of the week to get through all the other transformations. So look, these little arcs, little mini arcs, if you want to call them, it's just so that when I post the video, it's not just verbal and you see it, but like I would, if you're gonna do this, like do it really light on your paper, because then it gets cluttered. Like you should be able to count without writing it on. Actually, like okay, R ended up being at what, -3, 4. So R prime is at -3, 4. But like S, if I start at S and I go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, and then 2 up, I should be able to know that that's going to be at 0, 3. Without having to draw the lines on them. If I do the same thing for Q, here's the wonders of technology.
I can't do that on quiz.
No, on a quiz you can't, but you can count though really well. Where's Q prime gonna be?
Q what, huh?
Q prime, -4, -4, -1. Very good. Sid the kid strikes again. Max was complaining about too many messages. So. Okay, then finally for the T, we're gonna go 4 left and 2 up. So -1, -2. Yep. Any questions there? Okay, these I know these are gonna be on the quiz. I saw these.
I just want to shift.
Well, I just want to take a picture.
No, I didn't say this one's gonna be on the quiz. I said these types, where something that we maybe don't do too well, including myself. Use your words. Which one here is the pre-image? What's the before picture?
The black one.
The black one. What's the image? The blue one, but not because of the color. Prime notation. Once we learn about all the other transformations, you'd have to make sure that none of the other ones had occurred, that there'd be no rotation, no reflection. But since I can see all the points are in the same order, I can see that these have not changed any size. It looks like all that happened is it slid across the page. So let's see where it slid. If I count on any of these, let's do the L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, what am I doing? Sorry. It's been a long day. 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up. So plus 2 plus 6. How do we put this into words? No pun intended. How do we translate them?
Right, 3 and 5.
Yep. You can say translation. I like to write them separately, but you can just write translation once since that's all that's happening. But I would even like to write like horizontal translation. Because these are algebra words. You have to write this in algebra. Horizontal translation. 3 units right. And then vertical translation. But you can just write translation. You don't have to write translation. 6 units up. Last period, somebody asked me, oh, but how about if I wrote 6 units up first and then 3 units to the right? Yeah, that's fine. We don't know which one came first.
So it don't matter which one comes first. Hey,
Because you don't know.
No, you don't have to.
So you just do it.
Yeah. Now, what would be wrong, though, is if you said 3 units left and then 6 units down. Because then what is that person doing?
The opposite direction.
They're going from the image back to the pre-image.
Oh, yep.
They're going backwards. That would be wrong. Any questions there? Use your words, okay? Here, they're giving you a translation in words. They want you to graph it.
Yeah. Wait, is that the?
Yeah, that's what they want you to graph it. It doesn't give you directions. So let's just graph this. So let's first graph.
Negative C. Let's do C first.
Yeah, let's do C first.
I'll finish it.
So that's gonna be here. Here's C.
Wait, no. Oh. D is just 0 of that. Let's go down. Go down.
Then D is 0, -2.
Yep. E. Go
And
down
then
all
E
the way
is
to the
here.
bottom.
No, I say I'm refracting.
It doesn't say anywhere that you have to connect the dots, but maybe that'll make it easier for you to see. So I'll do that.
So this one we'll learn.
Huh? No, today we're supposed to do rotations. We're not gonna get to rotations. I'll just do that tomorrow and just play catch up the rest of the week. But I had probably somewhere between 15 and 20 emails just on Saturday and Sunday with people not knowing how to log in. Okay, now let's do the transformation here. They want us to go 4 units right and 3 units up. I'll do one of them by short. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So my new point for C, which we'll call C prime, will be at 1, -2. And really, once you have 1 point, you don't even need to keep on counting like from the pre-image. You can even just do everything relative. Like you could say, okay, well E is 1, 2, 3 units to the right of C, so E prime is going to be
1, 2, 3, bang. Oh.
compared to where C is. D was 3 units above.
3 up.
So it's to the right.
Is this on the week 2 or something?
This, I think translation was week 1, everything else was week 2. If I remember correctly. Huh? Absolutely, yeah, that's it. We're on week 2. You should definitely start week 2 already. Yeah. Finish week 1 first, because that's due tomorrow. But yeah, definitely start week 2. We still got some time. I still got like 5 minutes. I'll give you a couple minutes to sign up, but let's. This is the same thing. Here, this will be the last one I'll do. Let's describe this one using coordinate notation. And this will be the last one for translation. So if I was asked for coordinate notation, I would say x, y first. Slide. Since we know translations are adding and subtracting. Tell me what happens to each of the x's. Left 2. Because we went from pre-image to image, which is prime, we went left 2, so x minus 2. How about the y's?
Plus 3.
Plus
I mean,
2.
up
2. Up 2. It went up 2.
Yeah.
So y plus 2. Any questions there?
No, sir.
Alright, we'll leave it at that. Then next class we'll start rotations and hopefully get through that and even into the reflections.